It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. You can email me as well on anything and everything at randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. Well, today was the long-awaited day that Gavin Newsom finally unveiled his State of the State address, which is supposed to be a speech delivered to both houses of the California legislature. But Gavin didn't want to do that. Instead, Gavin wanted to make a movie.
That is something we are mindful of.
Gavin Newsom, instead of giving a press conference or a speech that should lay out what's going right and what's going wrong with the state, decided to use this as a platform to launch a 30-minute campaign ad just in case Thursday doesn't go well for Grampy Joe. And he decided to gild the lily and overproduce the crap out of this video by adding background music and clips and pictures. So it wasn't just the governor telling you what's going on with the state. Now, earlier today, we covered a good third of Gavin Newsom's State of the State address on the John Phillips Show. And if you missed any of that, you can download the podcast at kabc.com. But we only got to a couple of his topics, and most of them were off topic. Talking about how democracy is under attack, not a California problem. Talking about the border, not really a California issue. Abortion, homelessness, that was a California problem. But one issue that we definitely wanted to make sure we got to was Gavin Newsom talking about crime. And when Gavin talks about crime, Gavin talks about
accountability.
And since this is a movie and not a regular speech, not a normal press conference, since Gavin Newsom decided to make a movie and put it out on Twitter and put it out on YouTube, I feel like maybe, just maybe, as you're listening to this movie, you'd like to give it a review. You know, anytime that I'm thinking about seeing something, whether it's on streaming or at a theater, I check that good old website, RottenTomatoes.com. And if a movie has a lot of good reviews, I'm more inclined to see it. If a movie has a lot of bad reviews, if it's rotten, if only 40% of the people that saw it liked it, if only 10% of the people that saw it liked it, I might be less inclined to see that movie. So here's what we're going to do, as I'm going to play you some selections from Gavin Newsom's State of the State address, is I want you, the movie reviewer, to call me at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222, and we'll go simple pass fail. Do you find Gavin's movie to be fresh or rotten? If you think Gavin Newsom's movie deserves a Rotten Tomato, give me a call, 800-222-KABC. But first, let's give you a listen about what you're judging and all the silly background music. Gavin on crime, here we go.
Think about a world in which we did nothing about this crisis, when we fell prey to the cynicism, negativity, and the rhetoric, and just rolled over and said it was simply unfixable.
That's what that was what he wanted to say. All the things we've done about homelessness that are so great that all these other states aren't doing, but all the other states don't have the problem. All right, Gavin, let's transition to crime.
The same, by the way, is true of the red state approach to crime.
You notice in this overproduced movie, Gavin now had to change the music, the background music that was triumphant, and how great California is doing, how compassionate we are to crime. Scary music, ominous music.
Fixable. The same, by the way, is true of the red state approach to crime. They couldn't be more divorced.
Did he just do an indignant laugh in the middle of his movie?
They couldn't be more divorced from reality. Their entire crime agenda narrative is about diversion and distraction.
Well, actually, the current crime narrative in California is all about diversion because we don't want to put anybody in prison. Those diversion programs are great.
They create fear and division. Meanwhile, people are gunned down at higher rates in Republican states than in Democratic states. Eight.
Okay, but what does that have to do with the current crime in your state? I don't care what the crime rate is in Alabama. I don't live in Alabama. I do care that we happen to constantly see car break-ins, business break-ins, armed robberies. There was an armed robbery in Beverly Hills yesterday done by 4 teenagers, because teenagers know there's nothing will happen to them. You've got the teenagers down in Hermosa Beach that are harassing people and shooting off fireworks on those e-bikes. Those are the crimes that I care about. I don't care what the murder rate is in Jackson, Mississippi.
8 of the 10 most violent murder states in America are red states.
By the way, Gavin, let me just give you some advice, because I used to be like you and think that everything needed to be overproduced. I needed to have a music bed under everything. You should listen to the way I board up shows back in 2006. Everything needed to have a music bed under this, extra sound effects there. Let the room breathe. Don't gild the lily.
8 of the 10.
Of course, this ain't a lily.
8 of the 10 most violent murder states in America are red states. Even cities like Jacksonville and in Memphis have significantly higher homicide rates than cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles. But that's not what you hear. Instead, you hear wall-to-wall right-wing media coverage about lawless blue cities and blue states.
This guy watches way too much Fox News. And as I sometimes have to point out, for as influential as he thinks that channel is, the entire viewership for that channel is about 1% of the country on a good day. The other channels don't even mark a percentage of that percentage. So stop blaming right-wing TV for making you look bad. You look bad because your constituents are seeing you do a bad job. And that is across the spectrum of political persuasion.
In fact, California's violent crime rate is about half of what it was in the 1990s.
Yes, but is it lower now or is it lower before Prop 47 and AB 109?
It's 1992, a lower homicide rate now than 29 other states.
You notice that Gavin Newsom has to go back 30 years to show that, yes, crime is better now than it was in the 90s, in the riots, in the gang warfare,
A lower
in the Tupac and Biggie era. Now it's Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and hopefully they play nice.
a lower homicide rate now than 29 other states, including Florida and Texas. And property crime, as an example, in San Francisco is down 32%. In Oakland, where the California Highway Patrol, in partnership with local law...
Wait a second. You're actually touting the Oakland crime stats that we all know are phony baloney because crime is not being reported in Oakland because 911 doesn't work. And if you actually get a hold of the Oakland police, what do they tell you? We cannot file a police report unless you come here in person or you go to the website.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's not forget that, speaking of crime, the mayor of Oakland just got raided by the FBI.
Oakland Bees!
With the California Highway Patrol, in partnership with local law enforcement, we've seen a decline, a remarkable decline, 33% in crime. This is because in California, we take public safety seriously. We take it
Wait a second. Okay, we've talked about this before. Anytime a politician is telling something that's not necessarily true, even they have a hard time delivering it. There are some that are really good at this. Gavin Newsom is not one of them. And one of the easiest tells, if somebody is telling you something that even they don't believe, is they start raising the pitch.
We take public safety seriously.
We take public safety seriously. Okay, we take public safety seriously. Now I don't believe you.
We take public safety seriously. We take it as a problem to solve, not just to flog on cable news. We didn't wake up to this.
Well, that's funny because you've had complaints about public safety going on in the state of California since Prop 47 10 years ago. You wait until now to do something because there is finally enough public support to do something outside of your control with a ballot measure that you're doing everything you can to make sure people don't vote on. And the only reason people do want to vote on that is because they do not feel safe with your policies.
We didn't wake up to this yesterday. Beginning in 2019, we funded local police and prosecutors specifically to go after retail theft, not by defunding the police, but by recruiting, among other things, 1,000 CHP officers.
No, the defunding was done in the cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Oakland.
I said, hell no, baby boy. Let me get up on out of here.
But we're not satisfied until we get the job done. And to do that, I recognize we need to do more to clarify existing laws. And while it's true that California has some of the toughest felony theft thresholds in the nation.
Okay, once again with this, To quote the California State Senate Pro Tem,
There's been some hogwash.
Gavin Newsom loves to tout that, hey, even with Prop 47 that all you people blame, with that $950 threshold that used to be $450, there are states like Texas where the threshold is $2,500. Yes, if you're not paying attention at all, what he is saying is true. However, in other states, you can aggregate those charges. So if you're a repeat thief, that misdemeanor can go to a felony fairly quickly. Prop 47 took that ability away. There are also certain provisions in the law where when it comes to a thing like theft, a police officer cannot make an arrest unless they actually witnessed the crime themselves. So that's why they write a ticket. That's what's in the law. So yes, it's a little different. And it's not clarifying law, it's changing bad law. But he can't say that it's bad law because he has supported the bad law.
And while it's true that California has some of the toughest felony theft thresholds in the nation, we need to do more to go after professional theft rings more forcefully. We look forward to advancing this package of reforms this year.
That current package of reforms does not have support because they're trying to put all these poison pills that would decide that if people vote yes on Prop 47, all those bills go away. So when Prop 47 goes to the ballot, they can say, thanks to Rob Bonta, the Attorney General, that, hey, if you vote yes on this, you're going to defund the CHP.
There's been some hogwash.
So that's just one chapter of Gavin Newsom's brand new movie, his State of the State address. It could have been a speech, but no, he wanted to have music in the background and put pictures and graphics, and he wanted to make a movie. And if you'd like to review Gavin's movie that you're going to be hearing right here, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me how you feel about Gavin's movie. Do you think it's fresh? Do you think it's rotten? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Review Gavin's movie that we're playing for you right here. 800-222-KABC. Let's hear what Gavin has to say on taxes.
Catering to big business and the rich is also why red states tax their lowest earners far more than California does. Those red states punish you while you're struggling, but give you a free pass when you're wealthy. Here's the truth. Republicans...
He's real pissed that Elon Musk moved to Texas.
Here's the truth. Republicans will never tell you. California's not a high-tax state.
Why is this whole entire movie an argument between him and the Republicans that are pretty much a non-factor in the state of California? There are supermajorities in both houses of the state. There hasn't been a Republican governor since Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he was only kinda. So who exactly are you arguing against? You're in control of everything. The major cities, you're in control of everything. So who exactly are you going against unless this isn't about California and you're trying to go on the national stage? What is this movie?
Here's the truth.
This movie needs a new director.
Here's the truth. Republicans will never tell you. California's not a high-tax state.
Don't know about that.
Will never tell you. California's not a high-tax state.
Yeah. Good luck selling that to anybody that lives in California.
California's not a high-tax state.
I make what is considered a middle-class income in the state of California, and I see how much of my paycheck goes bye-bye.
California's not a high-tax state. Conservative states, this is a fact, conservative states tax their poorest residents, people struggling with 2 jobs, hospital bills, and childcare at a higher rate than we tax our wealthiest residents.
Did he just say wealthiest?
Than we tax our wealthiest residents.
Gavin, this was recorded. You could have done a second take, buddy.
Then we tax our wealthiest residents.
What happened, Gavin? Wealthiest.
Then we tax our wealthiest residents. You pay higher percentage of taxes if you're poor in Texas than you do if you're wealthy in California.
How about the middle class? Is that any different? Or are we only isolating one part of the tax code?
It's about who you're fighting for. In California, you don't have to be profligate to be progressive.
He loves saying that. Get your bingo card out.
We understand how to balance budgets while protecting working families, children, and the most vulnerable in our state. Thanks to our partnership with Senator McGuire and Speaker Rivas, we just passed the first ever 2-year balanced budget, a disciplined approach that keeps California on strong fiscal footing.
There was a massive budget deficit. At one point, it was high as $70 billion. I still believe it's like $30 billion. But yes, it's a balanced budget. Well, you're hearing Gavin Newsom's State of the State movie. If you got a review for me, 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. Let's start with Caitlin in Newport. Caitlin, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
Good. Yeah, Newsom Gruesome is just awful. Every single thing he says is a lie. Everything he says is one way is completely upside down. He's done nothing but ruin this state. And I'm so fed up, and that's why we're leaving.
Oh, you're leaving. Where are you going?
We want to go to Florida.
Well, we're going to miss you. Just remember that when you leave, Florida Talk Radio, not nearly as good as LA Talk Radio, so download that KABC app and we'll keep you company. Caitlin, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. Gavin, you just lost somebody, and she lives in Newport. Newport's gorgeous. You got to stop this, buddy. If you have a review for Gavin Newsom's movie, what do you think of Gavin Newsom's State of the State address? Give me a call. Tell me what you think. Blast away. 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We are going through Gavin Newsom's State of the State address, which is supposed to be a direct address live to both houses of the California legislature that Gavin Newsom decided to turn into a big, fancy, schmancy movie with background music and photos and showing you how great the state is. Although most of it was not about the state of California, it was about national politics for reasons. We are going to hear what Gavin Newsom has to say about jobs, the minimum wage, homeowners insurance, one of the biggest crises that is facing the state of California, businesses, big oil, and so much more. But before we get back to Gavin, do I have something sweet for you? 790 KABC welcomes New Kids on the Block at the Kia Forum on July 5th. That's next Friday. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com, but right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Good luck dialing. Our gift to you for being such loyal listeners here to KABC, for being a part of the family, is some NKOTB. Okay, that all rhymed. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. More Gavin coming up next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails as well at randykabc@gmail.com. That's randykabc@gmail.com. Gavin Newsom gave the State of the State today.
That is something we are mindful of.
But instead of doing a live briefing to the press, what did Gavin Newsom do? He made a movie that he put out on YouTube and Twitter. And he had to have it scored like it's a film with the documentary pictures here and there. And since he made a movie, we're going to review this movie. And right now, this movie stinks.
And while the right wants to strip away protections for working families, we built this economy by valuing the dignity of work, cherishing family time, and honoring labor unions. You shouldn't have to be a CEO to live a decent life. And in California, you don't have to. The California spirit means working hard.
What about the fact that nobody can buy a home here unless their parents have money?
The California spirit means working hard and being rewarded with a paycheck that meets your needs. All of our progress on higher wages and better benefits for working people is not just about the hourly pay. It's about building a future. It's about dignity. It's about respect, where everyone is included in our growth and inclusion. We're a state that gives a damn, for example, about fast food workers, and proudly so, who are predominantly women, working 2.5 jobs to get by. And because of the leadership of the California legislature, these hard workers finally got a raise.
Except for, the ones that were cut out of the deal because they weren't negotiating. So the big corporations that negotiated with the state, they got what they wanted out of this.
Job security that they deserve. And by the way, the companies themselves get a more stable workforce. California,
Win-win, everybody.
California's the tentpole. We're the tentpole of the American economy. 16% of all of our nation's job creation last month came from the great state of California because we value our workers and we value our workforce.
Okay, see, this is just when Gavin likes to brag about things that are just obvious. Okay, 16% of the jobs created. Aren't we 12% of the state's population? So it's really not that much more. It's like when Gavin Newsom likes to say, we're bigger than 21 states combined. We know that. You get it. Yet, are things run better here than some of those other states? Not necessarily. Now, if you ask any homeowner in the state of California, what's the biggest crisis facing us right now? They'd probably say the fact that homeowners insurance rates are going up 50, 60%, doubling, tripling, or just getting dropped entirely. And then there's nobody that will insure you. This is because of wildfires. This is because of homelessness. This is because of climate change. It's for a lot of reasons. But this is one of the most important issues that we haven't gotten a lot of clarity on from the governor's office, from the insurance commissioner, Ricardo Lara, or from the California legislature. So here we go. It's the state of the state. It's one of the most pressing issues. And Gavin Newsom devotes 27 seconds to the topic.
But it doesn't end at a paycheck because costs are still too high for too many people. Our most persistent challenge remains affordability. The issue that defines more issues in more ways and more days remains housing. An added stressor, of course, these days is not just the cost of housing, it's the cost and availability of housing insurance. And we're tackling that with more urgency now than ever, moving reforms and new laws quickly to stabilize our insurance market.
That's all we get? He spent 4 minutes and 55 seconds on homelessness, 2 minutes on crime, 2.5 minutes on the border, 3 minutes on abortion, but the homeowners insurance crisis, it gets 27 seconds. And really only half of that was specifically about the homeowners insurance. I'm going to say he spent 14 seconds. 14 seconds on homeowners insurance. It's good to know he's got his eye on the ball and not on national politics. Let's continue with Gavin Newsom's State of the State movie with all the fancy music in the background. Because God forbid you just talk.
Here's a simple question for Republicans. If California is such a failed state, why are 4 out of the 7 most valuable companies in the world based here?
Why is he so angry? You're the governor of the largest state of California, which you say is a bigger deal than being almost anywhere. We are the biggest state. Why is Gavin so angry? Why does he have such a thin skin?
Here's a simple question for Republicans. If California is such a failed state, why are 4 out of the 7 most valuable companies in the world based here? Why does the Bay Area remain the top-ranked region in the world for venture capital? We've got more business startups in California.
Well, if you could pay for it, who is going to have their business in a place with humidity or freezing temperatures?
We've got more business startups in California than any other state in America, and among the highest average wages than any state in America. We've added 63,000. Talk about a wealth factory. We've added 63,000 new millionaires in California since 2019.
That's an interesting statistic. Is that because people automatically just started making 7 figures a year? Or are you tallying that because home values have gone up to the point where a dump in the valley is $1 million house? And again, if you're a homeowner, that's great. It's exciting. But if you're not a homeowner, how do you ever get into this market? Governor, anything?
We've added 63,000 new millionaires in California since 2019. And within the last few weeks, we learned yet again that California has retained its place as the 5th largest economy in the world. We've achieved.
That's because UK took a dump and India is slowly but surely going to take over.
We've achieved record-breaking tourism, and our population is growing again.
Okay, the tourism thing is one of those things where if you go to San Francisco and ask them, is tourism better now than it was in 2019? The people at Fisherman's Wharf would say, hell no. Would you please buy 2 clam chowders because we're broke?
We've achieved record-breaking tourism, and our population is growing again. All of these facts fly in the face of the California haters who want to tear us down because they know our success is a spotlight, respectfully, on their own failures.
Okay, I just have to point this out to the governor. The vast majority of the criticism that is directed at you comes from your own constituents. Gavin Newsom has a 44% approval rating. Most of the people in California are the ones who do not like his job. They don't like what he's doing. It is not necessarily that they don't like California. In fact, there are plenty of people that don't like Gavin that love California, that would love to see California do better. Right now, it's not. Gavin, stop going after California haters. Because you know what? You shouldn't care what people in Florida think of you. You shouldn't care what people in Texas think of you, unless you're running for president. But you should only care what Californians think of what you're doing. And right now, doesn't look like you're doing a lot of good stuff. Now, a Gavin Newsom presser would only be, the only way a Gavin Newsom presser would turn into a movie like this is if Gavin Newsom did what he is always known for, some of his greatest hits. You know, if you're getting a Gavin Newsom movie, like Arnold Schwarzenegger saying, "Hasta la vista, baby," Gavin Newsom's got to say, "Big oil is ripping you off."
And we're moving forward in the face of oil-funded politicians all around us that are lying to us. They're trying to say that a clean economy somehow is a bad economy. But we're not asserting that. We're proving them wrong. We have 6 times more clean energy jobs than we do fossil fuel jobs. At the same time, we're holding big oil accountable.
Oh, there's that word.
Accountability. At the same time,
Was this like when he was going to go after the windfall profits tax that turned into, we're going to investigate if you're price gouging, and they still have done nothing about that? Gavin Newsom's whole career is flashy headline, no follow through, whether you agree with him or not.
At the same time, we're holding big oil accountable for their lies and accountable for their price gouging. We're suing them. We're suing them, yes, for defiling our planet, but also defending ourselves from their profit-driven greed, drilling their oil rigs next to houses and playgrounds and daycare centers. And we're
pretty sure every single one of those was approved by a local government.
And we're operating the world's 5th largest economy on a carbon-free engine, 90 days since March alone, proving that clean future isn't only desirable, it's achievable.
Yes, now can you start building some more electric chargers? Because right now it is infeasible to drive around this state in an electric car. And the fact is, now the criminals are stealing the copper wire from the Tesla charging station. So how exactly are you going to fix that one? Oh, this was a movie, not a press conference, so he doesn't get to get asked any questions. If you'd like to review Gavin Newsom's movie, I'd love to hear from you. 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. Let's go to Bill in La Cañada. Bill, hello.
Oh, hi, Randy. I need to remind you that we can't just judge Gavin based on this one performance. He's got some impressive Hollywood film credits. In fact, one of my former colleagues at the LA Times did a forensic amplification of Angie Dickinson's phone stalker in Dress to Kill. Does this heavy-breathing weirdo sound familiar? Equity. Diversity, equity, diversity.
That is a fantastic point, Bill. Thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it.
That is something we are mindful of.
We will hear the big finish to Gavin Newsom's fancy schmancy movie next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC on Gavin Newsom's fancy schmancy State of the State movie. Why do a press conference? Why address the legislature when you can have sound effects and graphics and, of course, an orchestral score? Let's go to Henry in Anaheim. Henry, hello.
Hey, Randy, Trump 24, baby. Reason why I'm calling is I was trying to figure out how much money did he use of the taxpayers to make his stupid, video. I mean, it's nonsense. I mean, the guy can't even probably tie his own shoes. You know, him and Joe Biden,
think about it.
Put them both together, they look like Beavis and Butthead.
That's pretty good. You think about it, this could have just been done live with a microphone in front of the legislature, but instead he had people that had to shoot this, had to edit it. Somebody had to score it with music that wasn't royalty free. This probably cost them a pretty penny to do. And because this wasn't a campaign video, this was his official duty. You paid for that video and I paid for that video.
Yeah, exactly. Just, he'd be like his Uncle Biden, trip over his feet and fall on his face or something on national TV. That would have been hilarious.
There you go, Henry. Thanks so much for calling. Good to hear from you. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Dave and Whittier. Dave, hello.
Yes, Randy. To preface my remarks, I mean, people have got to hear what several Edison workers told me. But I want to preface it by saying Newsom must have been raised in the school of Soviet communist propaganda as a child. And did he go off to the Soviet Union and was schooled there? Or was he trained by Xi Jinping? So here's the deal, folks. We have a catastrophe coming. We have an executive order from Gavin Newsom to banning all gas-powered vehicles by 2035, and it's already started. He wants 27% electric vehicles in California by 2026. I was told last year during a scheduled maintenance power outage by a neighbor that Edison, when they were there, they were fixing a transformer that the Edison worker told him was caused by too many electric vehicles in the neighborhood, causing the lights to flicker in houses. And then about a month and a half ago, down the street, there was another scheduled outage, a maintenance outage. And the supervisor there told me that the power grid is overburdened. It's stressed because of Newsom's mandate to ban all gas vehicles by 2035. And he said he's leaving California. So, folks, we have a catastrophe happening right now. Got to get on it, expose the truth, get involved, get the message out to Democrats and Republicans, and get them voting against Democrats, because your life is at risk. Your quality of life, your very life is at risk.
That is a great message and something to be real concerned about. We are not prepared for the mandates that are coming ahead of us, whether you support the technology or not. Dave, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. And you know what's funny, too, is Gavin Newsom is touting, how AI is going to be this huge boom for San Francisco. The biggest AI companies are all in San Francisco. Apparently, the amount of power that is consumed in AI researching something for you, creating a fake voice, creating a fake image, which is what most of AI is done right now, is overblowing the power grid. So we're going to have to figure out a lot more capacity if we want to be able to do all these lofty dreams that Gavin Newsom has for us. We'll finish off Gavin's movie next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang. Grab your popcorn. It's Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We are wrapping up Gavin Newsom's 30-minute movie that could have just been a press conference. It's the State of the State address, but he wanted to have fancy music in the background and didn't want to take questions, so it's a movie. Let's see how the ending is.
In a state with a bigger balance sheet than many nations, it's easy to get lost often in facts and figures.
You mean like the $70 billion deficit? Excuse me, it's now down to $30 billion.
It's easy to forget what our values truly represent, what they represent to the United States, for that matter, to the rest of the world. We're building a future where everyone feels protected, everyone feels connected and respected. We're building a...
There's another Gavinism. Doesn't this sound like the background to an HR video now?
We're building
I feel like I'm going to have to take a quiz at the end of this.
We're building a future where everyone feels protected, everyone feels connected and respected. We're building a state that transforms the world over and over and over again. We're a state that launched a farm worker revolution, a free speech revolution, a love revolution, a computing revolution, a biotech revolution, a climate revolution, and a quantum revolution. That's us. Weird, wild, free-spirited California. A place that can elect Ronald Reagan and Jerry Brown back to back. A place...
Is this supposed to be the funny part of it?
A place that can elect Ronald Reagan and Jerry Brown back to back. A place for Ayn Rand and Jane Fonda. For Metallica and Kendrick Lamar. A place that can...
Those are weird comparisons.
A place that can invent the internet and the popsicle, blue jeans and Barbie. California is where the most creative people in the world want to be, whether they're born in Salinas, Tuscaloosa, or Bangalore. A place...
You had to look up those names.
A place where a world-class education leads to a world-class job.
And world-class debt.
Where that world-class job leads to a brighter future. Where standing out makes you outstanding. This is the future California is creating now. We're solving our most pressing problems with enthusiasm, resolve, and a California spirit that allows us to accomplish anything. Anyone who really knows California knows that the state of our state is strong and resilient, a beacon to the world. Thank you, California.
There, we got it. He finally said it at the end. The state of the state is strong. So how would I review Gavin Newsom's 30-minute State of the State movie?
There's been some hogwash.
Thanks so much for listening, everybody. I really appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow at 5 for another News Blitz on Talk Radio 790 KABC.